Here's another story. This one's more biblical, more revelation. Story: The Gates of the Locusts. The sky blazed crimson as the final sacrifice knelt upon the blackened altar. The world held its breath, the air thick with the stench of ash and despair. They caught at the door of death, a jagged rift in the earth, sheared by eons by the blood of the unwilling. Tonight it would open. The sacrifice, a nameless figure clothed in tattered white, whispered no prayers. Their eyes, hollow yet defiant, staring into the abyss below. The crowd chattered, their voice ached, hummed to the end. Death is the key, they sung, the key to the apocalypse. It's also the door to the judgment. As the blade fell, the ground shuddered. The pit of pain yawned wide, its maw a swirling vortex of shadows and screams. From its depth rose the dead, not as corpses, but as locusts. Their wings a deafening war. They poured forth a plague of reborn, their eyes glittering with hunger for the living. The gates was open and the word would bend. Sacrifice blood sheeped into the earth, the final note in a song older than time. The locusts swept across the planet, devouring hope, leaving only the echoes of their wings. And in the silence that followed, the doors of death stood wide, inviting all into its embrace. Here's a song called Locusts of the Apocalypse. Beneath the crimson sky, the altar weeps. The sacrifice kneels where the darkness creeps. Earth gates yawn, a pit of pain. The key turns now, so no soul remain. Locusts rise, the dead take flight. Wings of ruin in the endless night. Apocalypse scenes, the gates undone. Death's doors open, the end has begun. Blood on the stone, the earth's last cry. The heavens shadow as locusts fly. A plague of shadows, no mercy spared. The words are grave as bones laid bare. Locusts rise, the dead take flight. Wings of ruin in the endless night. Apocalypse scene, the gates undone. Death's doors open, the end has begun. No savior came, no light to see. The pit of pain set the damned free. A song of sorrow, a hymn of dread. The living fall where the dead now tread. Death's gate stands forever wide. The locusts swarm, no place to hide. The apocalypse hum, its anthem sung. The end is here, the bell has won. Hope you like that song. This is chapter 2. It's called the Fangs of Famine. The locusts have scoured the earth, leaving fields barren and skies choked with the senseless hum. The door of death, now a gasp and ruined in the earth, paused with an unholy rhyme as the earth itself beat with a dying heart. The survivors huddled in ruins, their face gaunt, the prayers unanswered, but the apocalypse was not done with them. From the gate's death came the second plague, not insect this time, but beasts. Wolves like eyes like embers, serpents with scales of obsession, and ravens with beaks sharp as betrayal. These were no mere animals, they were the hunger of the earth, made flesh, driven by the malice older than the stars. They tore through the remnants of humanity, their claws and fangs relentless, sparing neither the strong or the weak. Villages burned under their onslaught, and the screams of the haunted echo through the wasteland. With the beast comes salvation's grip. The locusts had devoured the crops, but the animals haunted what little remained. Livestock scavenged roots, even the desperate who ventured too far. Rivers ran dry, poisoned by the gate's corruption. The survivors fought over scraps, their humanity eroding as hunger gnawed at their soul. The pain of pit, the pit of pain had brought not just death, but a world where life was a curse. In the shadow, the door of death loomed, its shadows whispering of places yet to come. The beast howled, prowled, the howls a drive for the starving, and above, the sky darkened as if the heavens themselves moaned the words to send. What happens? It disrupted the food chain. Here's another song called Locusts of the Apocalypse Expanded. Beneath the crimson sky, the altar weeps, the sacrifice kneels with its darkness creep. Gates dark, death's gates yawn, a pit of pain. The key turns now, so no soul remains. Locusts rise, the dead take flight. Rings of ruin in the endless night. Apocalypse seen, the gates undone. Death's doors open, the end has begun. Blood on the stone, the earth's last cry. The heavens shadow as the locusts fly. A plague of shadows, no mercy spared. The words are grave as bones laid bare. Now beasts arise with the fangs of flame. From death's dark gate the hunters gain. Wolves and serpents, ravens of spite, they tear the living in the starving night. Locusts rise, the dead take flight. Beasts now hunt in the endless night. Apocalypse sings, the gates undone. Famine's shadow, the end has begun. The fields are dust, the rivers dry. No bread to eat, no tears to cry. The plague beasts stalk, the hunger keen. Starvation weeps where hope has been. No Savior came, no light to see. The pit of pain set the damned free. A song of sorrow, a hum of dread. The living fell where the dead now tread. Death gate stands forever wide. Beast and famine, no place to hide. The apocalypse hunt is Athem's son. The end is here. The bear has won. Uh, Let me know what you think of that song. It was kind of just an update. Just added the beast into the storyline. Now we move on to the next chapter. This one is called The Shadow Within. The door of death stood unyielding, a blackened skull on the earth, its pulse now a slow marking dredge. The locusts have stripped the land bare, and the beast has haunted the survivors to the brink of extinction. Starvation gnawed at the living, but the third plague was no internal foe, it was the darkness within. From the pits of pain emerged a shadow that did not crawl or fly, but swept into the minds of a few who remained. This internal darkness was a plague of despair, a suffocating weight that turned thoughts to ash. Survivors saw visions of the sins, the fears, the lost loves, each a twisting in the heart. Some clawed at their own eyes to escape the torment. Others wandered, murdering to phantoms only they can see. The darkness whispered lies, urging betrayal, madness, and surrender. Friends turned on friends, driven by a paranoid bone of the plague's cruel touch. The world grew silent, save for the screams of the broken. The beasts still prowl, but they seemed to sense the new plague, circling the affected with eerie patience, as if waiting for the darkness to finish its work. So starvation had hollow bodies, but the internal darkness devoured souls, leaving husk where hope once lived. The door of death pushed stronger, its shadows curling upward as if feeding on the despair it had unleashed. And in the minds of the plagued, a question lingered: what horror would the gate birth next? All right. Then we're going back to the song again. Going to add this new play to the song. Locusts of the apocalypse expanded. Beneath the crimson sky, the altar weep, the sacrifice near with darkness creep. Death's gate yawn, a pit of pain, the key turns down, no soul remain. Locusts rise, the dead take flight, beasts now hunt in the endless night. Apocalypse scene, the gates undone, death's doors open, the end has begun. Blood on the stone, the earth's last cry, the heavens shadow as the locusts fly. A plague of shadows, no mercy spared, the words are grave as bones laid bare. Now beasts arise with fangs of flame, from death's dark gate the hunters came. Wolves and serpents, ravens of spite, they tear the living in the starving night. The fields are dust, the rivers dry, no bread to eat, no tears to cry. The plague beasts stalk, the hunger keen, starvation reaps where hope has been. Now darkness bloom, no light to find, a plague that festers in the mind. The shadow whisper, twist and lie, the soul's own torment makes it die. Locusts rise, the dead take flight, beasts and shadows haunt the night. Apocalypse scenes, the gates undone, darkness within, the end has begun. No voice to scream, no will to fight, the heart ellipsed by endless fright. The gate's back black pause, it calls, it gleams, feeding on our broken dreams. No savior came, no light to see. The pit of pain set the damned free. A song of sorrow, a helm of dread. The living fell with the dread now dead, with the dead now tread. Death's gate stood forever wide, darkness reigned, no place to hide. The apocalypse songs, its anthem sung, the end is here, the bear has won. Now we move into the fourth plague. This chapter is called The Shadowed Moon and Frozen Dawn. The the door of death paused like a room that would not hear. Its shadows crawling like a wood broken by locusts, beasts, and the internal darkness that devoured minds. Survivors, the soul fray, cling to fragments of hope, unaware that the heavens themselves were about to betray them. A blinding flash lit the sky as an asteroid, a jagged harbinger of ruins, struck the moon. The impact shattered lunar rocks, sending a colossal fragment screaming towards Earth. It crashed into the Pacific Ocean, birthing a tidal wave that swallowed coasts and drowned cities in a single merciless surge. The world power grids flickered and died, plunging humanity into darkness. No lights, no machines, only the primal terror of a world unmade. The earth groaned in response. The ring of fire erupted, volcanoes spewing ash and fire from Japan to Chile. The Yellowstone supervolcano, long dormant, roared awake, its eruption cloaking the sky in a choking veil of ash. The sun dimmed, its warmth stolen by the shroud. Temperature plummeted and the first snow fell. Unnatural, relentless, holding me an ice age born of cosmic wrath. Our few survivors, shivering in the ruins, hunted by beasts, tormented by their own minds, and now facing a frozen doom. The door of death stood wide still. Its pulse now a drumbeat of finality. The world was no longer a home but a tomb. The stars above seemed to watch, indifferent to the end. But whispers from the gate hints at one final plague, waiting to claim what little remains. Well, I'm starting to lose my voice. Hopefully, this story is almost over. Otherwise, I might have to end it soon. Here's the expanded song of the locusts of the apocalypse. occupants adding its latest plague to it. Beneath the crimson sky, the altar weeps. The sacrifice nears where the darkness creeps. Death's gate yawn, a pit of pain. The key turns now, no soul remains. Locusts rise, the dead take flight. Beasts and shadows haunt the night. Apocalypse sings, the gates undone. Death's doors open, the end has begun. Blood on the stone, the earth's last cry. Heaven's shadow as the locusts fly. A plague of shadows, no mercy spared. The words are grave as bones laid bare. Now beasts arise with fangs of flame. From death's dark gate the hunters came. Wolves and shepherds, ravens of spite, they tear the living in the starving night. The fields are dust, the rivers dry, no bread to eat, no tears to cry. The plague beasts starve, their hunger keen, starvation weeps where hope has been. Now darkness bloom, no light to find, a plague that festers in the mind. The shadow whisper, twist and lie, the soul's own torment makes it die. The moon is cracked, the heavens fall. A star wrath strikes, the ocean calls. Pacific bores, the power dies. The earth aflame through aspen sky. Locusts rise, the dead take flight. Beasts and shadows, ice and night. Apocalypse in, the gates undone. The frozen in, the world outrun. The ring of fire, yellow storms roar, volcanoes awake, the sky no more. The ice feel thick, the cold take hold, and ice head grips the world so cold. No savior came, no light to see, a pit of pain set the damned free. A song of sorrow, a hymn of dread, the living fell with the dead now tread. Death gate stands forever wide, ice and ash, no place to hide. The apocalypse hum its anthem sung. The end is here, the bell has won. Uh, looks like we have another plague. Actually, this one kind of looks like two plagues at once. Hey, things wasn't bad enough for the survivors. This one is called the Quakening Veil and the Sixth Shadow. The door of death throbbed with the fury unbound. Its whip now a chasm that scarred the frozen earth. The fourth plague had rent the skies, coastal lands. The shattered moon's debris lingering like a curse in the astral catchment. The ice age gripped the world in crystalline claws, but the true chamber began as the planet rebelled against its own bones. The quake came without warning, a worldwide catastrophe born from the supervolcano's rage. The ground heaved and split, a sympathy of destruction that swallowed the remnants of salvation. Civilization. Old islands vanished into the sea, the ancient shores claimed by yawning fissures and tidal whip tides. Mountains, those internal centros, collapsed in thundering avalanches, filling valleys and rubbles and dust. Cities long ruined by prior plagues were paralyzed anew, the skeletons ground to powder. The earth itself screamed, fault lines erupting like veins of fire, and lashes aftershock that rippled across continents, troubling what little stood. Well, this is an shaking event, plague. I think it's supposed to this plague I'll be living in the sky. In the chaos, the fifth plague birthed the sixth, a spiritual mist that rose from the cracks, a plague of illusion and lost souls. It twisted reality, conjured mirages of the world before, lush fields among the eyes, loved ones calling from the void. But these visions were traps, luring the desperates into caravans and towards phantom safety. Only a dashed against the unforgiven stone. Mist carried whispers of the dead, driving survivors to madness or willing surrender. Beasts prowled the fractal landscape, their howls mingling with the earth's groan. while the unturned darkness of the third plague amplified the illusion, turning hope into a crude Jew jest. The door of death whispered, widened. It paused now a Semitic heartbeat. The ice entombed the fallen. The cracks reshaped the world into a nightmare of jagged scars, and the mist revealed it all. And death's deceived self soul. Yet the gate hungered still, promising plagues beyond counting, until nothing remained but the silence. I'm not going to give you a updated song. I think we kind of know where that's going. By now, we can almost just have it going in our minds from saying it so much. This story is called The Poison Well and Sacred Springs. The door of death paused with a mere violent rhythm. The chasm now a gasping maw that seemed to drink the world's last gasp. The fifth plague's earthquake had torn the earth asunder, sinking islands and flattening mountains, leaving a fractured wasteland shrouded in the icy ash of the fourth plague. The, myster- the spirit The spherical mist of illusions lingered, taunting survivors with visions of salvation. But the sixth plague struck at the heart of life itself. All fresh water turned to poison. River, lakes, and streams run black with corruption. The surface slick with an unnatural scene that burned the throat and twisted bodies. Rain fell as venom, scorching the skin and fouling the soil. The crags have erupted the earth's veins, releasing toxics from the deep, and the door of death influence seemed to curse every drop. Survivors already starving and maddened now face thirst we unrelentless agony. The beast of the second plague lapped at the tinted water, growing fiercer, their eyes glowing with a sickly light. Yet among the desolate, whispers spread of a new springs, rare, radiant pool born from sacred fractures, where the earth heart still beat pure. These springs, glowing faintly under the ash-dark sky, were guarded by jagged terrans and the desperate. Tribes formed, battering through frozen, quaking ruins to claim a single slip, only to find many springs overrun by beasts or corrupted by the creeping tent. The mist of illusion twisting these quests, luring pilgrims to false oases or into the dells of death. The door of death looms larger, its shadows curling towards the sacred spring as if to choke the light. Survivors fought, bled, and died for the last drops of purity, while the world froze, shook, and withered. The gate's pulse grew louder, pulsing yet another plague to seal humanity's doom. Ah, so there is a seventh plague, and it's called the end of time. The door of death paused with a male violence that seemed to mark the shattered world. Its chasm of birth that had birth locusts had devoured, beasts that haunted, shadows that broke minds, cosmic ruin that froze the earth, quakes that reshaped it, and poison waters that choked life itself. The sacred springs, fleeing beacons of hope, were now battlefields, their purity fading under the gate's creeping tent. Survivors, gaunt and broken, fought through ice and ruin, only to face the final plague, the unraveling of time. The death of door in her a shimmering void, a distortion that fractured reality. Time collapsed, past and future blending into the present. Survivors relieved their worst moments. Birth turned to death, victories to betrayals, love to loss. In an endless loop, the world became a kaleidoscope, of torment where the screams of the fallen echo alongside the laughter of the long dead. The sacred springs dried as the moment of creation was erased, and the earth itself seemed to sputter, quaking anew with each temporal rift. The beasts, maddened by the time storm, attacked shadows of themselves, while the internal darkness of the third plague amplified the chaos, making every soul relieve their guilt internally. The door of death widened to swallow the horizon, its pulse now a deafening roar. The survivors trapped in the circular hell saw the gate's truth. It was no mere portal, but the inner self, a devourer of existence. As the final moments blurred, the world dissolved into the void, leaving only the door of death, internal and sated, its place complete. Ah, so the door of death, as some may call the void, has swollen and taken control. This chapter is called The Silent Judgment and Rebirth. The door of death stood as a gasping ruin in the earth, its pulse a fading echo after unleashing six plagues, locusts that devoured, beasts that hunted, internal darkness that broke minds, and asteroids ruin that froze the earth, earthquakes that shattered it, and poison water that choked life. The sacred spring, once glimmer of hope, has dwindled under the gate's tent. Survivors, battered and scarred, face the final plague. Silence. For 3 days the world held its breath. No word stirred the ass-laden air. No beast howled, no quakes rumbled, no poison stream gurgled. The silence was absolute, a void that swallowed sound and motion as if existence had itself paused in judgment. Survivors stood frozen, heart pounding in the stillness, each moment stretching into eternity. The door of death loomed, its shadow stilled as if it too awaited an unseen verdict. The weight of guilt, fear, and loss pressed heavier on the quiet. A trial of soul lay bare. On the third day end, a faint breeze stirred, carrying a warmth that defied the ice age grip. Silence broke with a distant bird's cry, a sound so alien it felt like a miracle. The earth exhaled and life stirred. Rivers began to clear, their poisons fading as new springs bubbled from unforgotten frictions. The beasts retreated, their ferocity dulled, the internal darkness lifted, replaced by fragile hope. The Ice Age, the last scar of the fourth plague, melted slowly, green shoots piercing the frost. The quake ceased and the moon's shattered face seems less ominous under a clearing sky. The door of death shrank, its parts faded, as if saturated by a trial it has wrought. The word fell reborn, not hope but healing. Its survivor stepping into a dawn that whispered at second chances. Yet the memory of the plague lingered, a warning edge in the earth's scars. Ah, now we put into the saga of the door of death. In the shattered dawn of the end's time, the word trembled under the weight of an ancient prophecy. The door of death, a jagged rift, sealed by forgotten rites, awaited its key, the blood of the sacrifice. As the blade fell upon the altar, a pit of pain yawned wide, unleashing the first plague upon a doomed planet. The dead rose not as shambling corpses, but as swarms of locusts, their wings a thundering war that blot the sky. They devour fields and forests, leaving bare wastelands in their wake. The survivors huddled in fears, their cries drowned by the endless hum. But the gate's hunger grew, birthing the second plague. Beasts twisted by malice, wolves with amber eyes, serpents of obsolete cares, and ravens with betraying beaks tore through the remnant of humanity. Villages burned, and the haunted screams echoed across the desolate. With the beast came salvation, cruel embrace. The locusts had stripped the land, and the animals claimed what little remained. Rivers dried, poisoned by the gate's corruption, and the living fought over scraps, their humanity fraying like threadbare cloth. From the earth, from the death, emerged the third plague, internal darkness, a shadow that crept into the minds like ice into water, like ink into water. Visions of sins and love lost tormented the survivors, driving them to claw at their eyes or wander into madness. Paranoia turned allies to enemies, and the beast prowled with eerie patience, as if the darkness finished what they began. The world grew silent, save for the broken screams, but the heavens betrayed them next. The fourth plague shattered the sky. An asteroid struck the moon, sending a colossal fragment crashing into the Pacific Ocean. Tidal waves swallowed coasts, and global power grids died, plunging the Earth into primal darkness. The arena of fire erupted in fury, volcanoes spewing ash and fire from horizon to horizon. Yellowstone supervolcano awoke with a war that shook the continents, clouding the sun in a veil of ash. Temperatures plummeted, ushering in an ice age that encased the ruins in frost. Beasts grew fiercer in the cold, and saw starvation deepen as frozen gravity had nothing. This catacomb triggered the fifth, a worldwide earthquake that rent the earth asunder. Old island vanished into a foaming sea, mountain collapsed in avalanche of stone, and fault lines erupted like ruins. Cities were pulverized, and the ice age grip tightened on the fractured landscape. From the fractures, fixtures rose the sixth plague. No fresh water remained pure. River and lakes turned to venom, burning throats and twisting bodies. Acid fell Rain fell as ashes, scorching the skin. Yet among the desolate, new springs bubbled from sacred spot, radiant pools guided by the jagged terrain and desperation. Tribes battled through the frozen, quaking ruins for a single ship, only to find many corrupted or overrun. The door of death pulsed louder, its shadows coring towards the spring. Then came the seventh and final plague, silence. For 3 days the water held its breath. No wind stirred, no bees howled, no quake rumbled, no frozen stream gurgled. The silence was absolute, a void that swallowed motion and sound, as if existence paused in judgment. Survivors stood frozen, hearts pounding in the stillness, each moment an internal reflection on their guilt and loss. The gate loomed, its bark still, awaiting the unseen verdict. At the end of the third day, a faint breeze whispered through the ash, carrying warmth to define the ice. The silence broke with a distant bird cry, a miracle in the void. The earth exhaled, and life restored anew. Rivers cleared, the poison fading as sacred springs multiplied. Beasts retreated and mounted star. The internal darkness lifted, replaced by fragile hope. Earthquake ceased, and the moon's shattered face gleamed under a clearing sky. The ice age, the last scar melted slowly, green shoot piercing the frost like promise of renewal. The door of death shrank, its wrath chilling as if shaded by the trial. The world filled with bone, not unscarred but healed. The survivors stepping into a dawn of second chances. The plagues had purged the old, forging a new era from the ashes, a rebirth etching the earth's enduring memory. Well, that was a long story, but let me know what you think. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Thank you.